Thank you for joining me today. Let me just give a quick disclaimer. This video is edited for enjoyment reasons and also as a part of my educational purposes. I'm a student pilot, and this video is for posterity reasons, but it's helping me along in my process to becoming a pilot. This is not for your instruction. You should get your own instructor if you want to become a pilot. With that being said, like, subscribe, share, and comment. Thanks for watching this video. Alright, so in this particular video, my audio did not record onto the camera for some reason. I'm not sure exactly why. Other videos it did, but maybe I didn't have the cord pushed in. I'm not sure. But I want to say this here is my maybe 13th or 14th flight, and I'm getting prepared to do a check ride before I start soloing. So what we're going to be doing is maneuvers and a landing. So we're going to go into a few maneuvers, an engine out maneuver. We're going to do that. Well, not necessarily a maneuver, but what happens if your engine goes out? What are the steps you're going to follow? The emergency checklist and getting your plane down and into a field. Another thing that we're going to go through are steep turns. So my steep turns need work. At least my steep turns to the left. Steep turns to the right, no problem whatsoever. I mean, normally I hit my wake on my steep turns to the right, which is a good thing. Steep turns to the left, nope. I wind up losing about 100 feet or so. Finding that sight picture out the window on the left for me is a little more difficult, which surprises me because I'm left-handed. So I would have thought that the left side would be easier, but it's not. The right side is. I have a sight picture and I can take that, whatever I'm looking at in the front on the cowling, I can swipe that across the horizon without a problem. But for whatever reason on the left, it's just not there. So I'm gonna have to keep working on that, and you'll see that in the video coming up. But right now what we're doing is the checklist, and I still need to memorize this checklist for the emergency procedures for the engine out. So right now we're at a glide rate of about 79, 80 miles an hour, and we're gliding. I pick my field and I'm just going through the list. So I'm able to complete the list even while reading it. I just need to do it a lot faster. The one thing that I forgot to do was the 121.5 and then mayday, mayday, mayday. That was the hand gesture right there. I forgot that part. I did squawk the 7700, and at this part it's just about me getting myself in position to land the aircraft. So I think I'm getting better with that. I just need to keep going over that checklist in my mind. That way, I can get through it a lot faster. So I can be out that window and looking. Yeah, checklists, for some reason, I just get stuck and my head is inside the cockpit instead of out of the window where it needs to be. So we were going to make the field. There was not going to be any problem with that. I'm pulling in flaps right now. Simulating a landing. Turning in. The field would have been made with no problem. And we hit that 500-foot marker, and then we take off without a problem. So overall, this particular engine out was pretty good. I had a previous engine out video where it wasn't so good. I would not have made the field because I kept going a little bit too far when I should have turned in a little bit early. Probably should have did that base a little bit early. But it's all good. That's what training is for. That's what all these hours are for. Repetition. Practice makes perfect. So now this is where we're going into my left turns. And you'll see, they're not that good in my estimation. Once I hit that 30 degrees bank, I kind of push in some power. Maybe I'm not putting in enough power, but I'm definitely not pulling back enough. For some reason, it's just like my body doesn't want to pull back enough, and I don't do it in time. You can see that cowling is all over the place in the horizon, up and down, up and down. And I wind up, once you lose the altitude, it's kind of hard to get it back. So now my instructor is going to demonstrate it again for me, showing me how he does the left-hand turn. Now, he's on a different side of the plane and he's using a different hand to do it, but I don't think that really has anything to do with it. I think I just need to pull back a little bit more, add a little more power, and really just pinpoint that spot that I need on the cowling, and just swipe that across. That's as simple as that. Eyes out the cockpit, eyes on the horizon. I think really that's what it boils down to. I can do it going to the right. Perfectly going to the right. I'm going to get the left. I really am. We also worked on stalls. I hadn't done stalls in a while. So power on stalls and power off stalls. So I had to which was great that we did it because I really needed a refresher on it. I knew the steps to get into slow flight, but I wasn't sure on especially the power off stall. I know I got down to 60, but I didn't push in that power right before 60, and it kind of just started dropping altitude on me right there, when I should have been pulling back and adding a little power at that 60. It was a good refresher for me. I'm gonna still have to keep going over those steps. In my next flight, we'll be doing more maneuvers, and I'm gonna see if I can hit those stalls several more times just to really get them in my head. So I think I'm talking about the sight picture, the difference between what I see on the right and what I see on the left, when I'm doing my steep turns. For me, it does look extremely different. It feels different between my right and my left. And you can see, look at that nose just tilting down off the horizon. And that's where I lose that altitude. And then I pull back, but the altitude is already gone. And that's the main thing, is just trying to keep that altitude, and it's hard to make it back up. If you've been through this, let me know. During your flight training, if you have something that helps you with steep turns or helped you with steep turns during your flight training, leave it in the comments. I would love to hear what you do and what your techniques are. What's some of the most memorable things about your training? Did you even like training? I actually love it. Learning the maneuvers. It's awesome for me. It's a great experience. See, look at that right steep turn. Amazing. I like it. No problems there. Not that left though. Not that left. All right. So now I want to say this is where we're coming in for landing. It got kind of late. I had to this flight was a little bit late. I want to say we didn't get in the air until around 5:30. And by the time we were landing, it was a little bit after 6:30, closer to 7 o'clock. So it's very late. And you see I had to bring out the flashlight, the little red light, because we couldn't see anything inside the cockpit. I also had to cut my iPad down because that light was so bright inside there. So hence all the red. But it's very interesting to come in for a landing at night. And I know some of you vets out there, you've been doing this for a while, but as a student pilot, you know, it's very different. It's very different. You know, when it's hard to see, you know, what your altitude is, what your airspeed is, and all of that, and you're coming in for a landing, but I think I handled it pretty well. Now, the one thing I'll say is, I believe I touched down before the 1,000-foot marker. So for me, I was like, I touched down a little bit too early, I think. Yeah, right before the 1,000-foot marker, I touched down. I was hoping to go a little bit further than that with it, but I'm not sure that matters or not. But that's what I was aiming for, because that's what I normally do during the day landings. Also, taxiing off the runway at night, those blue lights, those things are hard to see. There are no center lights on a runway or center lights on a taxiway at this airport. So those dark blue lights against the night sky, it's not as bright as you think they are. They are extremely hard to see. But I was able to manage, and you know, we got off the runway. I made my call, and then we're just going through the cleanup process right now before we taxi back to the west ramp and tie down the airplane. But it was a very insightful flight. You know, I got to go over some more maneuvers. So now I know I really need to hone in on my left steep turns, and I want to go over stalls even more, because I want to have that process down pat. You know, I'm going to be doing a check ride soon. I want to make sure that I hit everything that I need to hit in that check ride so I can get to my first solo. I'm kind of excited about my first solo. I'm a little apprehensive about that first solo as well, but I'm excited overall. I'm looking forward to being in the airplane by myself, taking off, and then coming back in for that landing, staying in a pattern, maybe a few touch and goes. You know, I am looking forward to it. We also had a great conversation about what flight instructors make. That was a really good conversation. I want to say I Googled it before, and Google said in some areas up to $90,000 a year. And my instructor looked at me and was like, yeah, right, $90,000 a year, where at? So I don't know. I thought instructors, you know, you're talking about what, $40, $50, $60 an hour. That's per flight. So I'm guessing it's depending on how many students you get. You could do pretty good if you're in the right area. But yeah, you know, I just want to thank everybody who's watching the videos, who's supporting. This is a pretty short video. I didn't have the audio. I'm sorry about that. I'll try to make sure that all my next videos have the audio in it. Yeah, let me know what you think. Leave your comments. Again, like, subscribe, and share. And just thank you for watching. You know, I'm enjoying this process of learning how to fly and sharing that with you all. For those of you who do aviation videos, look, keep posting. I can't get enough of aviation videos. I love watching all you guys' videos, and girls as well. They are amazing. And hopefully one day I'll be able to get to where you guys are and, you know, have my own plane and be flying all over the place.